Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Straight Betting. Today is Monday, May 12th. Two games today. We had two games yesterday, and for how good the playoffs have been, yesterday's games were kind of an absolute shit show. I mean, I didn't really get to watch OKC versus Denver for the most part. I saw the fourth quarter, which was pretty good to be honest. Pretty competitive down the stretch there. Shea finally, really made some big time shots. J Dub showed up late, even though he had a terrible game. Cason Wallace was big. Jokic, man, he continues to struggle. But yeah, OKC ended up getting the win. So that's good, I guess, for the potential of more games, which I guess we'll take as betters, right? But yeah, and then Cavs Pacers, man. I truly feel for Cavs fans, man. Like I truly do. Um, just rough to have that regular season to get hurt. It looks like Donovan Mitchell is now hurt, and then Indiana guys, they deserve a ton of credit. A ton of credit, man. They just play basketball the right way. To be honest, like the more you look at it, it's just like Halliburton is kind of like he's a weird player, right? I saw this comparison on Twitter, and I completely agree with it. He's like the Rudy Gobert of point guards. It's very true, man. It's like he doesn't really play pretty. He doesn't play conventional. He doesn't have like a deep quote unquote bag where he can like, get a bucket whenever he wants. But he just like consistently makes the right play over and over again. He ensures his team plays with pace. Yeah, man. Pacers role players are elite, man. Nemhard, really good role player. Neesmith, really good role player. Siakam's like a souped up role player to an extent where he's not really like a superstar or anything. I know he's like an all-star, but just does everything right the right way, right? Like can shoot a little bit, can take it to the cup, can give you 20 when you need it. He can defend his ass off. Miles Turner, man. Can't believe Miles Turner was in trade talks for so long. Like I truly can't. Like he is just like the perfect center next to pretty much anyone, right? Like stretch to shuttle the floor, doesn't need high usage, protects the rim a little bit, big body to muck things up down low. I mean, great role player, great bench. I mean, Pacers are just a squad, man. Pacers are a squad, so they're going to be a tough out for Celtics or Knicks, whoever wins. But yeah, so yeah, kind of shitty hoops yesterday. I did personally go 2-1. I played the Porter under that I gave out. I played Chet's over, which lost. I don't really think many overs were getting home, unless like maybe rebound props in that Denver versus OKC game. So yeah, went 1-1 there, and then I did add Pascal Siakam over 2.5 assists. It was like super juiced, and he did have 3. He got them all pretty early, but that game kind of went to shit. The main cap on that was Siakam in the middle of the zone. I thought there was going to be a ton of zone from Cleveland, and obviously, like it just like when you're down when you're down 30 instantly in the game, it's like okay, but we're just gonna man up, switch things up. But yeah, so I mean that game was a shit show. Thankfully, Siakam got home for that. So cool little 2-1 day. I got one official play for today, and it's in Knicks Celtics. I'll start off with the official play, and then of course break down both games, talk about basically every prop in each game and how I'm feeling about it. I have a ton of leans in both games. Like I said, only one official play. But yeah, let's get it started. Let's give out the play to start. First play, I went with Jalen Brunson, 25 plus points, and Jaylen Brown to get 5 rebounds. So it's an SGP 2-legger for -112 at FanDuel. Basically, guys, my cap on this game is I think that the Knicks got to show up here. I mean, this team's got pride. This team's like chronically online to an extent. They know that their fans are dropping like $1,000 for a ticket and stuff. But like, no, in all seriousness, I really do think that the Knicks compete, keep this one close. I think Jalen Brunson, the heartbeat of New York, I think he's going to show up and have a pretty good game. Obviously, guys, coverage standpoint, Jalen Brunson, he's been receiving very soft coverages for getting his shots up. It's basically a switch everything defense. Sometimes if it's Cornette or Kristaps, maybe sometimes Al Horford, it's drop coverage, right? But besides that, I mean, it's like literally like it's never going to be a blitz. It's always just going to be a switch or drop. And guys, just like Jalen Brunson against that type of coverage for like a full game, if he's engaged, if we get the Knicks competing out here, keeping it close, I just think that 25 man should be pretty close to a floor for him. So yeah, I think the Knicks show up. I think Brunson shows up. He's not getting any sort of tough coverages. He's getting really great coverages. Game one, he did have 29 points, 9 for 23, 5 for 9 from deep. So good from three, but not great overall. Shot 39%. Game two, absolute stinker. Yeah, just really didn't play good. But then game three, oops, sorry guys, my bad. I always do this. Okay. Um, game three, he did have 27 points. Shot the ball fine. I think he lost a couple minutes below, but yeah, Jalen Brunson. I mean, if this game's close, obviously he's going to be in line for massive minutes. I just think he's going to be really aggressive out the gate. I think that he knows that he's got to have a big game for the Knicks to compete here, for the Knicks to have a chance to win. So yeah, the coverages have been great all series. I'm not a big fan of the 27.5 line. I obviously lean over, right? I obviously lean over, but yeah, I just think that Jalen Brunson's like a safe someone who I trust to show up here in this spot and someone who I know is going to get a good coverage for him. So I think that even with like a inefficient game, as long as he's like aggressive and locked in, I think he can get to like the 25 mark. So that's the first leg. Jalen Brunson 25 plus points, and then Jalen Brown 5 plus rebounds. So I went back and looked at some of the tape, and Jalen Brown's like guarding OG Anunoby for the most part. And guys, if we just like look at OG Anunoby, I mean, he's just, and this is why Jalen Brunson has such good volume or should have such good volume. He's had 6 shots, 9 shots. He's scored like 2 and 5 points over the last 2 games. Obviously, he's like playing poorly, but it's just Boston's defense, right? So it's like, I mean, they're never really going to bring OG as a screener and bring Jalen Brown to the screen. It's like it's either going to be Cat screening or Josh Hart screening, and uh, Jalen Brown's not really guarding either of them for the most part. Like I said, he's just sitting corner and OG. And that's obviously very good for like weak side positioning. OG's not really crashing the offensive glass like that either, so that's good. Jalen Brown, he has had 7, 6, and 6 rebounds in this game. He's had 12, 13, and 12 rebound chances. If we go to games with 12 to 13 rebound chances, so it's been pretty consistent around here, obviously. And yeah, we're not betting on the 6.5 line. We're betting on the 4.5 line. So I mean, it's been 13 out of 13 games. He's won over every single game with 12 to 13 chances. So he's been in this range like very consistently this series, and obviously when he's in that range, he's very consistent. We can do 11 to 14, expand it out a little bit, and then yeah, it just keeps on getting better. So yeah, when he's like getting like these chances, which should continue, right? He's going to continue to guard OG. 28 out of 29 with 5 plus rebounds. So this feels like a very safe leg. Of course, when you're playing an SGP with like 2 overs, like I said, I do think this game is going to be close. I think Jalen Brunson is going to will his New York team to keep it close. Also, Boston like shot ridiculously good last game, and obviously that regression was probably coming at some point. That positive regression. But yeah, like I said, really think this game stays close. Really think that we're betting on 2 guys, Brunson and Brown, who will flirt with 40 minutes, especially Brunson, but will flirt with 40 minutes in a close game. Obviously, must win for both teams. Like really, really must win for Knicks. You don't, even though they went into Boston twice and beat them, right? It's like you don't want to make it a best of 3 when you're on the road, 2 out of 3. But also, and then for Boston, it's like you can't go down 3-1. Like going down 3-1 just like a disaster for your chance to win the series. So yeah, love both of these, man. Think that Jalen Brown's this leg should be pretty safe, and then also really like Jalen Brunson, like taking it down to 25 instead of playing the straight line, just because I think that this line's pretty fairly set. But I just absolutely love the spot for Brunson to show up. Love the coverages he's been seeing. So yeah, first official play is that Cat. Let's move on to some like Cat stuff. We already touched on OG, but Cat was a little bit intriguing to me. Look, he is getting cross matched, and he's going to keep on getting cross matched. Literally, probably like every single team he plays against. But with Horford, I just think with Horford in there, it is like a little bit easier for him to score because just like the difference between Horford and KP's rim protection, like Cat has been getting a fair bit of post up touches, and he's a pretty good post scorer, right? He obviously prefers to be more of like a finesse big, like attacking closeouts on the perimeter, especially when it's like a closeout from a center, letting it fly from deep. He's like he's barely getting any 3-pointers up, but Cat is a little bit intriguing to me just because I think that like he shot 5 for 18, right? 11 free throw attempts. That's great volume. They really went to him last game. And then yeah, he's been rebounding his ass off. Boston doesn't really crash the offensive glass, so it's like if you're like an uncontested rebound guy and you're not like doing a ton of point of attack, which obviously Cat's not, even though he is being forced to guard a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, his rebound chances have been great. He obviously has. I think we all saw like him read his lips where he said he broke his finger, which maybe is like a little bit concerning for rebounds, right? But yeah, Cat PRA is pretty interesting to me at 33.5. It's obviously just like a ridiculously low line for Cat, who averaged like 40 PRA in the regular season. Oh, sorry. But yeah, lean over on Cat. Just think that the lines are to the point where it's like absurdly low, and the Knicks are finding ways to get him the ball in the post, which is definitely a way where he can take advantage of like a smaller guard, especially without Kristaps being the one who's roaming for the most part. OG, like I said, man, I think that it's at the point where the line's corrected and accurate now, but it has to be an under or nothing. It just, like I said, I think it's going to be a big Brunson game. They're just staying home on him, right? They're not overhelping. That's just like brutal for him. Same with Macau. Macau does have a little bit more oddball creation. Obviously, he gets to his spots in the mid range pretty fluently, and he's had pretty good volume this series. Like you could make an argument that could have went over here, right? I mean, he took 13 shots, but he just doesn't get to the free throw line. Like he hasn't shot a free throw this series, so yeah, definitely should have went over and did go over in game two, and then here shot 6 for 10. I mean, over 2 from deep, but that's pretty like normal. So yeah, I also think this Macau line is fairly set. Don't really have much thoughts there. Josh Hart was at 11.5, and it's gone now. I kind of think that now 12.5 is a fair price line, but 11.5 makes sense. Just he gets guarded by a center. Same with Horford, man. The same thing. I'm just gonna keep on saying this with Horford though, is that Josh Hart, like he's gonna have to hit threes when Kristaps is guarding him because he can't like out he can't drive to the cup with Kristaps just sitting under there and that rim protection. It's just not going to work. But yeah, Josh makes sense at 11.5. I'm a big fan of that line. It's obviously at 12.5 now, so I think it's kind of misset. But yeah, he's just going to keep on getting left wide open from deep. And with Horford, like he really can like put the ball on the floor and take it at him a few times. I wouldn't be shocked if he got a couple buckets that way. So yeah, Josh Hart over 11.5 points. I am a fan of that, but at 12.5, the line it's at now, I think it's probably fairly set. And then the bench guys, man, it's tough. Deuce has got to play a little bit. It looks like we don't got any lines up for him for whatever reason. But yeah, Deuce, like I said, I don't have much take on him. He's probably going to play his 18 minutes. Like I said, in the non-Brunson minutes, I'm sure he can, get a couple shots up. But in the Brunson minutes, they're just going to stay home on him. So kind of think that's fairly priced. Mitchell Robinson's a big question mark here, guys. I mean, he's been really good. Like he has been really good, really impactful. But man, the free throw thing, the Hacker Robinson thing, I wonder if it just gets to a point where like they go to Precious. But yeah, so it's like Mitch is like I could see like if you guaranteed me that he's not going to get benched, and like Tibbs is actually like a very likely coach to not bench someone for that. But if you could guarantee me that he continues to play like 20 minutes around that mark, I think that this is a pretty good line because he's going to get hacked and he's probably going to shoot like 8 free throws in and he's probably going to go like 3 for 8. But that's like 3 points. So yeah, he's going to do his thing on the glass. The Celtics team is not very good at rebounding. They don't really have like the size and physicality to match him. So yeah, Mitchell Robinson makes sense. 10.5 PR. I definitely lean over there, but also you have the massive risk of, in my opinion, just I think a 10-minute game's on the table. Just like, okay, we're done with the shit, Mitch. You just missed your first 4 free throws. You have the yips. Yeah, it's just like completely thrown off the flow of the offense. So yeah, I think that Mitch stuff is pretty dicey, but I do lean over, and I think there's actually some upside to like an 8-8 game or something like that if you do want. Like you could definitely make a parlay and be like, okay, they're gonna do hack a Mitch, but he's gonna shoot 75. He's gonna have a good shooting game from the stripe. And then you could definitely see like how he gets an 8-8 game or something. So yeah, I mean, maybe if you want to play some alt stuff, I don't hate that. But all right, let's move on to Boston. So Tatum, I am interested in Tatum a little bit. Like I said, man, he's getting cat in the switch. There's no blitzing really going on. His finishing has been pretty bad. He shot the ball good. But yeah, for the most part, man, I think the Knicks really do want to force Tatum into high volume. And he's been so bad this game, man, or this series. He was fine last game, but shot the ball well from deep. But like I said, he's really struggled finishing and stuff. I do think that Tatum like has a good game scoring the ball, but like that's priced into this line at 27.5. So I wonder if there's any 26.5s. There isn't. Yeah, so nothing on Tatum. His rebounds at 10.5. Nothing really. Assists. Same here. I kind of think that Tatum stuff is just all properly priced. Same with Brown, man. Um, like I said, I was a big fan. I think that like the game plan for the Knicks is really just to like stay home and to switch, even if it means like getting Cat onto Tatum and Brown, just because like you just want these guys shooting the ball. And we saw a decent amount of Cat switching onto them last game. But like I said, man, I think these lines are fairly priced. Brown's volume has been awesome. I will say he hasn't had a good shooting game yet. He's literally been under 40% every single game. Like if Brown was at like Brown to get 20 plus, I feel is a pretty good leg. Because one of these games he's gonna shoot the ball decently. But yeah, like I said, same with Tatum, man. I feel like these lines are sharp. I feel like they're pricing in a little bit of regression, positive regression, and that's how I think about it too. So same with D White. Okay, I'm just gonna be completely honest with y'all. I don't really have much take on any of these Celtics props, except for I think Kristaps is a little bit intriguing. So he played 20 minutes last game or 19 minutes last game. He had 3 fouls in the second quarter, and he got pulled early. So you could even make an argument that without foul trouble, maybe he's around 22. And you could also maybe just make that argument that he's feeling better now because, like I said, he was playing like 30 minutes the entire time. Maybe the illness seems to be like popping up randomly on a day-to-day basis. So obviously he's going to continue to come off the bench given that the Celtics won the game and Al Horford's a very serviceable center, very good center. But I wonder, what if like the Horford minutes don't go great? I could see a ceiling for Kristaps. So you're also getting a nice buy spot, especially with the points, just because he's really hasn't done much. So yeah, I mean, I did the math earlier, and obviously this is completely different. It's regular season versus postseason, but per 20 minutes, which I do think is a solid projection for him, and maybe there's a little bit of upside there. He was averaging 12 points in games with Boston fully healthy. So yeah, KP at 8.5 is a slight lean over, but outside of that, that's about it for Boston stuff, man. Like I said, I think that the scheme for the Knicks is going to be to switch even when it's like you're giving them an advantageous matchup. If that means that it's just more Tatum and Brown iso ball, so like Tatum and Brown stuff. I guess the last thing with this is maybe there's a little dilemma going on here. Could present sell high, buy low stuff. Drew did pretty much get benched for Pritchard. I mean, Pritchard played 35 minutes. He played lights the hell out. That's obviously like a game flow thing where Pritchard just couldn't really miss. So I guess I do kind of think that some Pritchard unders maybe could be a tad bit intriguing. Same with Drew overs. Obviously, maybe you want to do a little bit more deep diving, but yeah, like I said, I'd probably more so think Pritchard under like 9.5 points would be the way to go. So that's a slight lean just because of I do think that the Knicks are really, really going to try hard to switch stuff and to force Tatum and Brown into volume. So yeah, and obviously, but like Drew's going to continue to be a screener as he gets guarded by Brunson. So that could be a little bit intriguing for some volume here and there. But yeah, I guess that's kind of my entire thoughts here with Boston Knicks. All right. Let's move on to Minnesota Golden State. I don't have anything official for here. I have a ton of stuff, a ton of thoughts here. So hopefully I can give you guys some good stuff. Start with the Golden State Warriors at the Timberwolves. So obviously last game, guys, Jimmy Butler had 33. Jonathan Kuminga had 30. It was like a very single coverage heavy approach from the Wolves. I do think they adjust a little bit, man. I know that they won the game. I know that they quote unquote played good defense, but yeah, man, Jimmy, it was too easy for Jimmy for sure. They were giving up too many easy switches. Dante DiVincenzo was getting fried. I have no clue what the hell was going on with him. It was bad. But yeah, they just gave up too much easy stuff to Jimmy, in my opinion. Kind of even got lucky with Jimmy kind of missing some bunnies here and there. I think that with the lack of shooting that Golden State has, especially if they're going to keep on playing, I mean, obviously they're going to keep on playing Draymond big minutes. They play Kuminga big minutes, who's a non-shooter for the most part. Gary Payton, non-shooter. Looney played a lot, non-shooter. I'm sure they had some like bench guys here and there that are non-shooters too. That's just like who the Warriors are. They're not a good shooting team. I just think it's a little bit silly to let Jimmy just like, do his thing one-on-one. You gotta. I think that they do help a little bit more aggressive on Jimmy. He did have 7 assists last game, despite I know it says only 11 potential assists, but you guys got to think the Warriors shot terrible. The non-Kuminga and Butler Warriors shot absolutely awful, and he still had 7 assists. I kind of do think that this is a little bit intriguing. I mean, he's going to touch the ball basically every possession. Points, I'd probably stay away personally at this 26.5. Like I said, I just think that a slight adjustment is coming from the Wolves where they are going to force some shots into like some of the non-shooters. So you can maybe make a case. I actually am kind of a fan of Draymond at 7.5 points. Like if this line goes down closer to tip and it's like 7.5 minus 125, I probably will end up playing this. I just think that Draymond, say what you want about him, man. He's a champ. I trust him in a big game to contribute to winning, and I think that him scoring is actually needed here. So I think that his 7.5 line is pretty intriguing. Kuminga, moving on to Kuminga, I'm actually a big fan of this over. The reason why I haven't played it is because in the back of my head, man, I still think that Steve Kerr is capable of benching him for the smallest thing, and I totally get that. Totally get that. He's awesome last game. He played great defense. But yeah, in the back of my head, I'm still like, does he have a decent chance of getting benched? I wouldn't say decent, but he definitely has a chance of getting benched. If anyone on the bench plays good, if Kuminga has some like selfish moments or something. But I mean, on a per minute basis, guys, like I don't expect him to score 30 and 36 again, but I do expect him to score like 22 and 36. 24, 25, and 36. I think that ults makes sense. Like 20 plus at a decent price is definitely a solid way of attacking it. But yeah, man, we're just gonna continue. We're gonna give Kuminga open threes, or like chances to shoot open threes. I think, especially if we show Butler some extra help. And I know I'm referring to the Wolves as we. If you guys didn't know, I'm a Wolves fan, so um, yeah, I'm on the team, bro. Totally, I'm on the team. But yeah, no, Kuminga stuff's great on a permanent basis, man. I think the volume's going to be great. If you want to play into some upside, I love that. But yeah, at the same time, man, I definitely could see a world where Kerr benches him. So yeah, Buddy Hield, I think his line's fairly set, for fairly priced. He's going to get a ton of off-ball usage, man. But like, we really are treating him like he's Steph Curry. So really are going to treat him like Steph Curry. We're super attentive, if I said that word right, to like the off-ball actions. Like, just don't want to give up open looks to Buddy, because the one way to really let this Warriors offense like have a good game is like a Buddy Hield explosion game from deep, specifically. So yeah, Buddy's facing very tough coverages, but he's getting so much stuff ran for him. So like I said, man, I think it's fairly priced. He did shoot pretty good last game. He didn't get a lot of good looks, but he took advantage of them. Shot 4 for 8, 5 for 11 overall. Definitely is going to play pretty good minutes. You definitely need his gravity out there. You need someone who is a threat out there. So yeah, I think that Buddy stuff is pretty fairly priced. I guess I didn't really look at anything, man. Like 28 plus minutes, he does pretty good with the glass, I guess. But yeah, Buddy stuff I think is fine. Pods, yeah. I mean, Pods shot 1 for 10. Don't expect 1 for 10 again, but definitely don't expect like 6 for 10 or anything. He's getting guarded by Ant for the most part. He's just super overextended right now. I mean, when you're projecting Pods out, you got to project him to be inefficient. It's just like he's not really a good shot creator to begin with. He's a really good like connective piece, but when he's forced into like this like role where um he has to do more, I just think it's tough. But at the same time, man, he's probably going to play, like, he's going to have the ball in his hands a fair bit. He's going to play like 36 to 38 minutes. I just think it's fairly set. And I think that this is like one, I know I said this exact same thing on the last one, but this is one where you make the bet. He shoots like 30%, which honestly like is like pretty normal for him in this role. And he comes up like a little bit short, and then you're like, oh, well, it was a good bet. Pod just shot bad. It was like, you're asking him to self-create shots in isolation in the pick and roll, like while getting guarded by really good point of attack defenders, and it's just like he's overextended. So yeah, Pod stuff, man. I mean, is his rebound still at 5.5? Because yeah, okay, like his rebounds, you could definitely sell me on, man. I mean, definitely could sell me on this. Like he's gonna play big minutes. He's a scrappy rebounder. 5.5 rebounds, I think you could sell me on. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on Pods. I already talked about Draymond. I think I might give him a go if his line gets down a little bit lower. And then GP2, he's just a tough one without Steph. Like I said, maybe he does, get with how good Jimmy was. Jimmy, like, sees a little more attention, and that could open stuff up for GP2. But yeah, man, it's tough. I also don't trust that his minutes are going to be sticky because it just he's just a tough one to play, tough guy to play with out Steph, right? It's just like this offense like needs something more, and he's just not going to give that to you. So yeah, one would not shock me like if GP2 had like a 11-minute game or something like he did in game two. So yeah, definitely probably lean unders on GP2, but at the same time, it's like maybe he gets like an open three here or there with a little bit of overhelping on Jimmy. So yeah, probably lean under on Peyton stuff, man. Just think that maybe Kerr kind of made a mistake playing him so much, and there's like better options to go to. All right, Wolves side of things, man. Anthony Edwards at 26 and a half. Look, he just got into that zone. He got into that zone last game. A big adjustment that they used is they're definitely playing him off the ball more. They don't want him, and they talked about this in the post game interview. They don't want him just like getting blitz in the pick and roll every time. That's what's going to happen, and it's gonna be brutal for him to score. So definitely used him off ball a lot more. Got some dunks that really got him going. So yeah, I think the Wolves kind of found something there with Ant. Obviously, this is like a must-win game. Well, it's more so a must-win game for Golden State, but I mean, it's a must-win for the Wolves too, right? They don't want Steph to come back because they've been struggling with this team, man. This Golden State team really good on defense, like elite on defense, and the off-ball movements have always been tough for the Wolves to defend. So yeah, it's kind of like a must-win. Not saying that they're like the worst team. I think that these teams are like very equal with Steph. They're clearly the better team without Steph. So it's like just don't play with your food. This is like a really big game. You just don't want it to get to the point where you got to win a must win. You got to win a game, and Steph Curry's on the other side. Yeah. With that being said, though, I think this line's probably fairly set as well. I know it's like boring to say, but yeah, he's you could maybe sell yourself on buying low on the rebounds. Like I said, he's going to play like 40 something minutes. He's mostly guarding pods, not guarding Jimmy a ton. So that's decent for rebounding and stuff. And obviously, like he was absolutely cooking on the glass in the first couple games, 14, 9 rebounds. Chances weren't massive. So maybe that was just some like regression there. But yeah, and stuff, like I said, I think for the most part it's fairly set. I think it's gonna be a tough assist matchup for him. Like I said, he's had 2, 5, and 4. So the line is at 4.5 now. Like I said, I think it's probably fairly set, but yeah, that's kind of my Ant thoughts. If he gets into the zone, he'll go over. But if he's frustrated by the defense, because they are making it very tough on him, and the defense can impact him, then he'll probably stay under. Randall, I was so close to playing Randall. I think that Randall is just so important for this Wolves team. I think you could find ways to play him. I think his minutes, I don't know what he played last game. He played 40. I think he's got to play 40 again. What Golden State is doing is they're putting so much on-ball pressure. And obviously, there's only a couple Wolves guys who you trust, like facing, pressure, especially bringing the ball up the court. It's not Nikhil, it's not Dante, who are like the quote unquote backup point guards, and even sometimes like starting point guards when Mike Conley doesn't play a ton. And then it's Ant, but it's like Ant. They want to play him off the ball. They want him to exert his energy in like different ways. It's just you're asking too much from Ant if you need him to bring up the ball. So Randall's kind of been like playing a point guard. He's been used as a hub a ton. He's been used as a screener a ton. And when it's like an Ant Randall pick and roll, obviously they're creeping up and they're forcing the ball into Julius's hands. He can make a decision, get an assist there. He can attack the rack. They're playing him in single coverage in the post for the most part. Sometimes they're throwing a double in there. They're kind of mixing it up. But what's most eye popping to me is that when Julius has a one-on-one matchup with Draymond Green, it's like he's taking advantage of it. So look, man, I just think that Julius is probably going to play like 40 minutes. He's absolutely needed. Like his usage, I wonder what his usage was last game. It was 29%, 28% the last 2 games. He's been insanely vital for this team, man. Like I don't think that these games are really flukes at all. This game too, he only played 33 minutes due to blowout. I don't think that the Warriors are getting blown out here. I don't think the Wolves are. I don't think the Warriors have the offensive juice to blow out the Wolves. So it's pretty much the way I see it. This game is like a guarantee to stay pretty close. Julius is probably going to be around 40 minutes again. He's probably going to. I mean, his usage is just going to be absurd. I love 33.5 PRA from Julius. Oh wow, and this was 34.5. So this is probably going to end up being an official play for me. Julius Randle over 33.5 PRA. I mean, you just can't overstate how important he is right now. The Warriors are just making it super tough. Dante has no confidence. Naz Reid also, I guess we'll get to him a little bit, but Naz Reid's been pretty bad defensively. So it's like, and then if it's like Rudy and it's just like even more usage. So yeah, I mean Julius had 46 PRA last game, 16 potential assists, 22 rebound chances, 10 rebounds, shot 10 for 23. I think he shot 1 for 6 from deep too. Yeah, 1 for 6 from deep. So really didn't even have the most efficient game, and he had two buckets that got negated. Obviously, they deserve to be negated by shot clock violation. Like if he got the ball up like half a second faster, he would have had 5 more points too. So yeah, I just think that the Warriors you have to live with something, right? And it's like teams are cool with living with Julius because he's not going to be the most efficient offense, especially when he's shooting the ball, but he's going to be efficient enough for this Wolves team to beat the Warriors. So I think we keep on going to him. I'm a big fan of Julius stuff, man. Like I said, the assists could spike, the points could spike, the rebounds could spike, and he's also guarding Draymond for the most part. Obviously, sometimes it's like a lot of it is like Rudy too, but yeah, I'm just a big fan of Julius Randle stuff. I think that he's incredibly safe for like if you need some juice reducers, 15 plus points. I think that's incredibly safe. Maybe even like 5 assists. You could see something. And it's just like the one thing that's I guess the reason why I haven't played Julius yet is because like my overall philosophy when betting on playoffs is to not buy high, and you definitely are, buying high on Julius, but I just don't think it's high enough, man. I just don't think that it's quantified on how much usage he is. Like you're probably not even gonna find many games like this, but like 34 plus minutes, which like I said, I see him playing 40, 38, and then the usage is 100% going to be like 26% plus. And if you look at this, obviously, guys, this is like regular season shit. So completely different game, but he was pretty good. Pretty good at covering this line when he gets like ridiculous minutes and usage. So I think it's all going to be there for Julius here. All right, moving on to Jaden. Jaden stuff, man. He shot 3 for 4 from deep. That's not sustainable for Jaden. Let's be real. I think the minutes are absolutely locked in though. Dante, Nikhil, Mike, Rudy, Naz have all shown flaws. The only 3 guys who I think that have not shown flaws in this series are Jaden, Ant, and Julius, obviously. So look, I think that Jaden's hyper locked into his minutes, man. I wish that there was a 4.5 rebound line. This is like another one that I might circle back to. If if uh if it drops, which it probably won't. But yeah, I just think that Jaden's super locked into minutes, man. I think he's like I said, played 42. As long as he doesn't get into foul trouble, think he'll be fine. Think he's gonna play a ton of minutes. Points though, like I said, I wouldn't touch points. I just think it's fairly set at 12.5. Like I said, they are overhelping, but it's turning when it's high usage Julius, it's high usage Julius. It's like it's gonna be a lot of ISO ball, a lot of post ups. The ball's not gonna be like flowing around. Julius will find him for open catch and shoot threes, kind of later in the shot clock, which I just don't want to rely on Jaden that way. But like from a minute standpoint, like maybe like rebounds and assists, because I'm sure the hit rate will be crazy when he plays like 36 plus. Yeah, I mean, like stuff like this, I'm interested in for sure. Obviously, like I said, just a completely different game with playoffs. So it's like don't just like take this like for what it is. But like I said, I think that Jaden's completely locked into super good minutes. So there's my thoughts there. Naz, honestly, guys, I do kind of lean under on Naz. I think there's an 18.5 PRA out there, minus 125. Yep, at Caesars. He shot 3 for 3 from deep last game and still only had 14 PRA. He did get into foul trouble. Here's the thing with the Wolves, man. So they're gonna play 2 bigs on the court at all times, obviously with like Randall, Reed, and Gobert. With Reed on the court, our defense kind of stinks. Like Jimmy is like hunting him, he's hunting Dante. We don't have rim protection. It's really easy for Jimmy and Kaminga to score, and it's like those are the only 2 options, right? So it's definitely a trade off, but at the same time, with Rudy on the court and Nas off the court, the spacing stinks and the offense stinks. So it's like it's just a trade off right now, man. With Nas, it's going to come down to game script. Same with Rudy. It's going to come down to game script. However, whoever's minutes are going good, is the offense getting enough with Rudy out there? Okay, then Rudy's probably going to play really big minutes. Is the offense complete ass with Rudy out there? Okay, then Rudy's probably going to play shitty minutes, and Nas is going to have to play there. But They're doing a good job. They're doing a pretty good job. They did a really good job last game of staying home on Nas, and I think that's something you want to continue. Like, there's nothing wrong with the Warriors defense, so I don't really see much adjustments coming there. So yeah, definitely lean under on Nas here, to be honest. I'll talk about Dante in a little bit, and boy, do I got a lot to say about Dante. But Rudy, look, I think that, like I said, Rudy, the defense is just so dominant with Rudy in there, man. Like, it's like the only way they can score is like in the paint, really, like right with Jimmy and Kuminga, or that's the only threats they are scoring. So having Rudy there is insanely important on defense. Um, I do lean over on Rudy because I just think that the Wolves are going to win this game, and if that's the case, I think that it's like leans Rudy a little bit more than Nas. So rebounds, he's been pretty good rebounding this series on a per minute basis, 26, 27, and 27 minutes. I guess I have a slight lean over here. You could get an RA line at minus 120, which is, pretty interesting. But yeah, for the most part, I just think that Nas and Rudy are way too game script dependent. If you wanted to make like an SGP, like, oh, it's going to be a Rudy game where he scores 10 and has 12 rebounds, and then Nas goes under his points and his rebounds, I think that makes sense. But yeah, that's my thoughts there. Dante had his worst game in a Wolves uniform last game. It was really, really bad. And I know people are going to want to buy low on him, but he's usually been a really impactful defender, and he was getting absolutely hunted by Jimmy. Like, it was really, really bad. And his confidence looks shot. So, yeah, man. Dante, I lean under. I hate to say it. I think that, and also, guys, the ball pressure thing. So, I guess we're going to talk about this with the remaining three guys. The ball pressure thing is huge. It's absolutely massive. Like Dante, it's just like Mike Conley's a great option because he can handle ball pressure without turning the ball over when they're pressing. So that's another negative for Dante. And when he's not making shots, he hasn't been making shots all postseason. It's just rough. So lean under on Dante stuff. Mike Conley, I really like Mike Conley here. I just think that him bringing the ball up is so important for us. He played to 28 minutes, which we have not seen. I think it sticks, man. I think we see 22 to 22 to like 30 minutes, probably project him for like 25, 26 or something like that. And when that's the case, man, I mean, 11 and a half PRA is just super low, right? He's going to find a way to contribute. He's a good player. So yeah, really like Mike Conley stuff. But for the main thing is that he's good at guarding Buddy Hield. He's really good at chasing screens, so he's not really a liability on defense. Yes, Butler will help him a little bit, but Mike's just such a high IQ player that you can kind of make up for it a little bit. And then when he's actually contributing on offense too, with his ability to just like handle the ball and make sure we don't turn the ball over, I think that Mike's actually super important for this series. So yeah, Mike last game shot 3 for 9. What was it from deep? He shot 1 for 4. So really shot the ball poorly, but played 28 minutes and covered this line fairly sweat free. So yeah, Mike and Julius are the two people who I really want to play stuff. Nikhil, same, but Nikhil's in the same bucket of with Dante. Is that confidence is like wavering, can't really dribble the ball well. I will say he's better than Dante on defense just because his ability to chase screeners and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't really have a take on Nikhil, but yeah, Mike Conley, man, I love Mike Conley overs. I think that his ability to, like I said, to not turn the ball over and stuff is going to be very important for this Wolves team because, like I said, with this Warriors offense, they're so bad offensively that giving them turning the ball over is like a recipe for disaster, right? Like letting them score easy buckets in transition. That's like how you lose this game. So yeah, Mike Conley. Like I said, I think his minutes are actually pretty sticky. If I think he's going to close this game for sure. Um, yeah, like I said, big fan of Mike over 11 and a half PRA. Like I said, it's minus 130. I hate laying juice on PRA stuff. Like absolutely hate it. Think it's not smart in general, especially with a guy who can get benched like Mike Conley. So yeah. And also if Dante just gets out of it, Nikhil gets out of it, then you could sell yourself on that. But for the most part, I just think that Conley's steady presence is going to be needed against like a hounding defense like this. So yeah, big fan of Mike. All right, well, that's going to do it. Spent 40 minutes on this today. Wow, I got to go to work in a little bit, so quick get this edited and posted. But yeah, appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe. Be back tomorrow. And yeah, if you guys are on podcasts, also make sure to leave some 5-star reviews if you appreciate this type of content. I guess one last thing, the official play for today, like I said, I'm going to have something on the Wolves game, and it's Julius or Mike, in my opinion, for that. But Jalen Brunson, 25 plus points. Jalen Brown, 5 plus rebounds, minus 112 at FanDuel was the official play for today. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next time.